Hi, for those of you coming in and joining us, we will get started at 12 o'clock. So we're just waiting for some other people to join us and then we'll get rolling. All right, good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock and we're going to go ahead and get started so we can be mindful of your time. I know a lot of you are hopping on here on your lunch break. We really appreciate you taking the time out to join us this afternoon. We are going to be talking about the advanced academic courses that Hebron offers students, and we ask you that you please stay on mute. But if you have questions, please do feel free to type those in the chat. Several of the counselors, including myself, I'm Mrs. Rayford, Mrs. Klingon, Dr. Fields, Mrs. Hood, Mrs. Robinson, or Dr. Robinson, Mrs. Lovett. We're all on here and can help answer questions. There will be a few of us presenting today. Myself, I will be presenting about AP, honors, GPA, and class rank. Dr. Robinson will be presenting. She is from Collin College, and she's going to be presenting on dual credit. And then we're going to have Mrs. Klingon, who is going to be talking about our CTE courses that we offer here at Hebron and at our career centers. So I'll go ahead and get started. Go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so we offer three types of advanced courses. Honors, which was formerly probably called pre-AP if you were in middle school or maybe freshman year, our AP or advanced placement courses, and then the dual credit classes that we offer through Collin College. All right, so the honors classes are taught with advanced rigor. These classes are designed to prepare students for AP college level classwork. A lot of times you have many options in freshman and sophomore year of honors, but then as you work your way up, less honors options and more AP or dual credit options for students. Advanced placement, AP coursework. So this is a curriculum that is set by College Board. It is taught by the teachers here at Hebron High School, but it is a national curriculum. It allows students to work towards college level coursework and credit while they're still in high school. Every May, students have the opportunity to take an AP exam to get credit for those courses. Those tests cost a little over $100 for each exam. Students will, check with their college or their university to determine if they can get credit. But in the state of Texas, we do have legislation that says you'll get credit if you get a 3 or higher. Those tests are about 3 hours long and they're graded on a 1 to 5 scale. So if your student is good at testing and a little bit of the, standardized testing pressure type situation, and the curriculum is really good, we encourage them to take AP. It's a really good opportunity. And then dual credit. So Hebron has a dual credit partnership with Collin College that is set by the state of Texas. So we work with Collin College to allow our students to take college coursework. Dual credit courses count for both high school and college credit. They do have to meet certain requirements. So they either will have to meet the waiver for the TSI or they will have to take the TSI test. That's something that we will sit down with them and determine if they show an interest in dual credit coursework. And then those courses, we have opportunities for students to take those courses over the summer through Collin College, but we also offer those classes on our campus as well. There is also opportunity for concurrent enrollment, which means that that doesn't count for a high school credit, but maybe they want to take an art class or a music class on the college campus. They are allowed to do that, but they'll only receive college credit for those classes, but they do need our permission to take them. The dual credit classes are the ones that are offered through Collin. They're Collin College professors that are either going to come here to our campus or they are going to go to the Collin campus and take those classes. And we have agreed that we will give them both high school and college credit at the same time. One important thing to note, if your student or your child decides to take a dual credit class, you're not able to see those grades in Skyward. Those grades are kept in Canvas through the Collin campus website. And so you would have to ask your student to log in because they are a college student at that point, and show you their grades. So that is the one thing, like you would have to determine, do you and your student communicate well? Are they open about their grades? That's an important part of dual credit because there's a certain maturity that goes along with being a college level student. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Robinson, our college and career counselor from Collin College. She's here on our campus daily, and she is going to talk to you more in depth about dual credit.
All right, so as Mrs. Rayford said, dual credit is a course that is used simultaneously to earn both high school and college credit. There is a key difference here between dual credit and concurrent credit, as Mrs. Rayford noted. Concurrent credit simply means that the student wants to get ahead and wants to take call-in classes on their own time outside of the school day. We do have a lot of questions about why the counselor needs to still sign the permission form for concurrent credit classes, and that is simply because signing that form is every single person's agreement that that course grade will only show up on call-in and then the university transcript, not the high school transcript. Dual credit means that the grade for the course and the credit awarded will be for both call-in and then therefore the future university, as well as Hebron credit. I just wanted to make sure we got that clear before moving on. The exciting part about dual credit is that call-in professors, if you want to do dual credit, come to Hebron's High School campus and the students simply go to a different room, but it is an entire call-in class taught by call-in faculty here at the high school. And again, upon completing that course, the student receives both university and high school credit for one course. I love the dual credit program. I hope I can be doing this for the rest of my life. Courses truly do count for high school credit, but we try to keep our class sizes really, really small. Students also who are dual credit students are truly considered call-in college students, so they get all the services from call-in as well. That includes tutoring, testing, our counseling services, our disability program. All of those services that any other college student would get also apply to our dual credit students. Your kiddos can experience the college environment and understand the rigor of what college courses really would take. It's important to note, too, that the students really are beginning their university transcript. We can't hide grades from the university, and those grades will always appear on that college transcript. So it's a great test to see if students are truly ready for the university environment. It cuts down on completing the university degree and shortens the time that they need to be at their university. And also, call-in has the least expensive tuition in the state of Texas. Getting into that, UTD, and these are real numbers, costs roughly per course $3,000. UNT is about half of that per course, $1,500 roughly. For a 3-credit-hour course for call-in, you can see that that price is cut by more than half. And right now, most of us are considered out-of-county residents, but for dual credit, call-in has made an exception. And even though most of us don't live in Collin County, the dual credit students, whether or not it's dual credit or concurrent credit, still get that in-county rate. So savings-wise, too, it's a really smart financial thing to do to reduce the cost of tuition. Now, dual credit classes in the state of Texas are very, very, very transferable. However, the key here is that it is the student who is responsible for determining if the institution they want to attend for their university will accept their dual credit, and the student needs to understand how that dual credit will apply to the degree. I am happy to sit down with students to help students make those phone calls and to understand that process, but we need word from the institution that the student wants to attend in terms of how that institution will apply those credits. All right, what courses are available? For juniors, so all you rising sophomores and rising sophomore parents out there, for juniors, we allow dual credit students to take English and history together. One class goes on Monday, Wednesday, the other goes on Tuesday, Thursday. That's again, English and history paired together, typically taught during first and fourth. For seniors, and those are for juniors, full year-long courses. For seniors, we pair Econ and Gov together. Again, one goes on Monday, Wednesday, the other goes on Tuesday and Thursday. And then Speech and English 4 also get paired together. Now, the prerequisite for dual credit English 4 is either AP English 3 with a score of a 4 or a 5 on that AP test, or dual credit English 3. Then for juniors or seniors, and for seniors, those are semester-long courses. Now for juniors and or seniors, psychology and sociology are paired together, and those will count as social sciences electives on Hebron's side. The psychology and sociology run during third period, fall or spring, and statistics, which does require passing PSAT math or having a certain star Algebra 2 score. Statistics is offered third period, but it is only offered in the fall, not the spring. So if you're thinking about planning out your schedule, it's good to remember that statistics is only offered in third period and only during the fall. That course pair is paired with a Hebron High School independent study on the off days that the student does not have the dual credit teacher coming to Hebron. All right, again, dual credit, you receive university credit upon completion of the course, and it is a true university course. You also, unless you're part of the National Free and Reduced Lunch Program, you must pay tuition for that course to call in. Advanced placement, you would only receive the university credit upon completing and receiving that specific score on the AP exam. AP courses are true high school courses, though they are more rigorous than on-level courses. I bring that up because I really want y'all as a family to sit down and to decide if dual credit, AP, honors, or on-level courses are right for the student. We truly do want to push our students towards academic rigor. We do. We think that is important. But we also want to make sure that the program that the student chooses to participate in is the right fit. If the student chooses dual credit, you really need to be aware that the student is responsible for managing their own time and for communicating with the professor, with their counselor, as well as with me about when they will miss class and won't miss class. And this is not just because the student got sick or has a doctor's appointment or something like that. This also includes school-related functions, band trips, soccer games, so on and so forth. With dual credit, the student is also responsible to follow both Hebron as well as Collins' code of conduct. If the student realizes that they get in over their head and they need to drop the class, they have to go through Collin as well as Hebron's drop or withdraw process. Professors do expect too that dual credit students will show a genuine maturity. And they also expect that the students will read their syllabi and will reach out to the instructor to introduce themselves and if they have questions. Finally, we get a lot of questions about whether or not dual credit or AP is easier. And I always respond that I don't think one is easier or harder. Dual credit is a wonderful opportunity, but it is a true college level course, as I was just talking about, and students are treated as university students. AP is very, very rigorous, but it is still a high school student. So y'all as a family need to understand, is your student more independent and can your student handle that type of independence? Or do they need to get the same rigor but through an AP course? The student also, and students I'm talking to you now, you need to decide, do you want to take dual credit classes? Do you want to take AP classes? Or would you rather take on level? Again, you cannot make a bad decision here. We just want to make sure that you own the decision that you want to pursue, and we are here to support you. All right, if you have any questions, we will put my email in the chat. We will be having an information session on Wednesday, March 1st over WebEx at 6 p.m. But after this meeting, a link to our interest form will go out. Please, 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 if you are interested in pursuing dual credit and you want to get on a mailing list, please go ahead and sign up with that form. I will turn it over to you, Mrs. Rayford, for the next part.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about the different types of courses that we offer, and there were some questions about dual credit. Just to briefly, I think Dr. Robinson did a good job of stating that, people want to know if it's harder or easier to do dual credit or AP. there's so many factors involved in that, and so that is a really difficult question to answer. Really, that's something that you and your student need to discuss together to determine which is best. The impact on GPA and rank, though, is what a lot of students are also concerned about. So we want you to know going in how those classes are going to make a difference. Yeah, when you get your transcript, and those are going to be the latest and greatest will be uploaded to the student portfolio very soon. But right now you have the one from October that is there. Um, in the top right-hand corner, you are going to have the GPAs, the weighted numerical GPA, the unweighted 4.0 GPA, and the weighted 4.0 GPA, as well as the class rank and the quartile in which your student ranks on the transcript. So that is um, a couple of the major factors that are considered in college admissions and can sometimes get you automatic admissions and things like that. So, of course, students are, interested in how these classes will make an impact in that way. Again, those are in Skyward Family Access under the Portfolio tab. Can you go back one, Kim? Okay, so the weighted numerical GPA determines the rank. Okay, so that includes all of your core courses, your languages other than English, your world language classes, academic decathlon, if your student participates in that program, and any other AP class, even if it's like art history AP or AP computer science, those classes would be included in your rank, even though they might not necessarily be a core class. Um, What's excluded from the weighted numerical rank if you took a CBA or a CBE to accelerate for credit. If you took high school courses in middle school, those would not um, be considered except for Spanish 4, and that will be for pretty much every class from here on out. If you took Spanish 4 AP in middle school, that will count into your GPA and rank. And then how often is rank updated? That's updated every second 9 weeks. And freshmen don't get to see that yet, but at the midway of your sophomore, I'm sorry, it's updated every 9 weeks, and then it'll be updated after the mid-year point for the sophomores. So every year, freshmen don't have a rank until, and then sophomores don't have a rank until spring. But then once you see it, that's where it is, and then for the seniors, that rank is frozen at the end of the third 9 weeks, and that's what our final ranking is. Now, the GPA will continue to calculate, but the rank will freeze. All right, and then the multiplier. So with these different courses, there are different multipliers, and this data is coming directly off of the LISD website. Basically, if your student is taking an on-level course, whatever grade they make in the class, it will be a 1.1 multiplier to that grade. So if they make an 88, and we will multiply that number times 1.1, and that's the number that we will average into their weighted numerical GPA. A level 2 multiplier are our honors courses. Those are multiplied times 1.15. This is a little bit of an old example, but it still applies. We used to call honors pre-AP, so these examples here show pre-AP courses. And then the level 3 multiplier are any dual credit classes, AP courses, or academic decathlon classes that a student has on their transcript. So the sample calculation below shows a student's grades. They had an English 1 pre-AP, they made a 92, that's an honors class, so that was multiplied times 1.15. Geometry was on level, 88. That was multiplied times 1.1. Now, this student didn't take any AP or dual credit yet, so it was just all of their courses multiplied times either the 1.1 or 1.15 multiplier and then averaged out to get their weighted numerical grade. That weighted numerical grade is how we determine their rank. All right, so we operate on a 4.0 GPA, and the GPA and the rank are the two of the major factors in college admissions. Like I said earlier, sometimes colleges will have a minimum GPA or rank that will qualify a student for admission or qualify a student for scholarships. So we definitely encourage them to have the best possible GPA and rank that they can. Um, our 4.0 unweighted GPA includes pretty much all courses. The only courses that do not count in that would be the local electives. So, for example, an athlete that plays football all year round, that spring football course would not count into their um, coursework. If a senior decided to be a office aide, then that course would not count into their GPA. So even though those are some great hundreds and look good, unfortunately, they don't get to count towards their GPA. But that first semester of football does count, and a lot of your other electives that students really enjoy. Maybe they are a great artist and they really enjoy art and they do really well, or they're excel in choir or band. Those hundreds or 99s, those do get to count into their GPA. So we encourage them to do well in all of their classes, not just their core classes. Their electives as well, because those factor into their 4.0 GPA, which is what the colleges look at. All right, and so GPA points. So in A, anything 90 to 100 is a 4.0 calculated into the GPA. 80 to 89 is 3.0, 70 to 79 is 2.0, and anything below passing 1.0. And then here's an example of a 4.0 GPA calculation. So this student, again, this was kind of the same grades, but it didn't matter if it was honors or on level. They were going to get either a 4 if they made an A 3 if they made a B, or a 2 if they made a C. And then we would take each of those numbers, how many ever grades they have, and we would average it. This student had 14 grades, and then we would see what their average was. So it ended up at a 3.57. So if you're ever wondering what your GPA is, and sometimes students ask, what would my GPA be if I got all A's next semester? Well, they could take the grades they have now, add in 4 more 4s, and that would tell them what their new GPA would be. But we never can predict what the rank is going to be, because that's dependent upon what the other students are doing as well. And unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see into the future of what everybody's doing. So we just encourage them to do the best they can. All right, and then the weighted 4.0 calculation, really don't use that a lot, but sometimes it is used for admissions with athletics and athletic scholarships and things like that. Um, that's again is all of your core academic, world language, ACDEC, and AP, and same exclusions apply. And then the calculation on the next slide. Um, there's just a little bit of a bump on the level 1, level 2, and level 3. Like I said, for the most part, we do not use these calculations um, because it's not for most general admissions purposes. This is not used, but some non-traditional may use this. But the first two numbers, the weighted numerical and the 4.0, those are the main ones that we focus on. And then there's just another sample calculation there. All right, so when you and your student are discussing the courses that they are taking for the upcoming year, we just encourage them to ask some questions. are they a motivated student? Are they the kind of student that comes home and jumps on their homework and gets things done? Do they have the time? Are they involved in a lot of extracurricular activities? Do they play a sport or multiple sports? Or are they really involved in student council and are always at school for different activities? Are they an athletic trainer? All of those things factor in, and maybe they have a job. Jobs can sometimes take up a lot of time, especially in the evenings. And we want to make sure that they're not coming home from work at 9 o'clock and then having 4 hours of homework. That just doesn't necessarily set the student up for success. And so they have to ask themselves, will those extracurricular activities allow time for study and to work on outside assignments? Because most of these dual credit or AP or honors courses require outside of school time. And then are you committed to completing the course? We have a lot of students who sign up for honors and AP, but then unfortunately they get into the class and they're like, oh, I can't do this. I don't want to be in this class. And we set schedules based on what our students request. And so a lot of times our classes are full. And so when they want to get out of an AP English class, there may not be any room in a non-level English class, and they may have to stick it out. And a lot of times we at least make them try it for that first 9 weeks. And so are they willing to still continue to work hard even when it's difficult? Sometimes they have to have a little grit and commitment. Am I willing to ask for help and attend tutorials if I'm struggling in the class? All of our teachers offer tutorial times, especially our honors AP teachers, dual credit teachers. You may have to go into Collin College and use one of their writing labs or math labs. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to? Some people don't like to attend tutorials, but really a lot of our advanced students are in tutorials multiple times per week to get help when they don't understand things. And then what types of colleges am I considering? And do I plan to apply to an Ivy League school who expects me to take about 8 AP courses? If that's the case, then you definitely need to be, taking a couple of AP courses each year so you can get that done. Or are you considering an in-state, public university that is going to take dual credit and that you can get a lot of that coursework done? Those are great opportunities to get some coursework done and save some money. And then the biggest question is, how will this impact my GPA if I do well, and also if I don't do well? Um, if you don't do well, that that C and that, or even an F in a class, it's going to go on your 4.0 GPA and it's going to hurt it. So you have to determine, are you willing to take that risk? Is the learning important, that even if it's hard and you may struggle a little bit, but you'll work hard with your teacher to figure it out, and maybe you don't make the A, is that okay? You definitely have to think about that. And I think there's big benefits to taking AP dual credit and honors courses because they really are great preparation for college. But every student in there is not going to make an A, and they have to be willing to determine if that is worth the risk. So those are just some of the things. We have a lot of students here at Hebron who take advanced coursework and do well. And I think they all come out appreciative of the experience, but you'd have to determine, what you have time for and what your expectation is for yourself.
I wanted to jump in with just a few quick points to follow up on what Mrs. Rayford is saying. The most important question for the students to answer is that first one. Are they motivated to do the work and to succeed in the class? If they are motivated, then they will find the time. If you're not, that's fine. On level is completely fine as well. Second, if you think about time, the mathematical calculation that we use for advanced academics is that it takes for roughly every single hour that a student physically sits in that classroom, whether or not it's honors, advanced, AP, or dual credit, It's about 2 to 3 hours of outside of work time for every 1 hour that the student is physically in the classroom. So families, sit down, plot out your schedule. Do you have 2 to 3 hours for every 1 hour that student is in the class? Also, on that final question, how will this impact my GPA if I do well or if I don't do well? GPA and weighted grades are one category in a university admissions packet. However, the university admissions counselors do look at the numerical grade that is listed on the transcript, not just the GPA. So they will see the 73, they will see that it is weighted higher, but a 73 at the end of the day is still a C, and a 95 is still an A. So again, don't just think about GPA, but think, do you have the time and the motivation to get the numerical score that you want your universities to see?
All right. We're going to turn over to Mrs. Klingon for the next portion of this presentation, which is about the career and technology options that our district and our campus offer.
Thank you, Mrs. Rayford. Okay, so let me share our presentation for career and technical education. Okay, so our district is blessed with so many programs and so many opportunities for our students to experience more than just English, math, science, and social studies. We're more than just core curriculum for our students. We're able to provide a full experience for students to be prepared, to have lots of chances to figure out what they want to do and what they want to study, or what they want to be after they graduate from high school. So we have opportunities that are available here on the physical campus, and we also have two career centers, TECC East and TECC West, and both of those have opportunities of further study for classes that our students are interested in. The goal of career and technology education, the mission and goal, is to provide educational programs that enable students to achieve their fullest potential in pursuit of high skill employment and advanced education. CTE is not just about having students workforce ready, it's also having students be advanced education ready. And we want students to be equipped with human relations and other lifelong learning skills to be ready to compete in the global marketplace. There are many benefits to CTE classes. They provide quality programs that are open for all individuals. Our campus, our district has open enrollment, so students can sign up for any program that they want to. And yeah, there are acceptance processes, but anybody can say that they're interested in going into a program, and we'll make sure that they have an opportunity to be able to access those programs. It's important to give students rich learning experiences with real-world applications. We like to assist students to identify possible career choices for after graduation. We offer all opportunities in all of the career clusters and all of the sequences that go along with state requirements. And we have career pathways for access to industry certifications. We have career pathways that are directly connected to endorsements for graduation. And our courses are offered with professionals who have extensive experience in the fields that they're teaching. So if a student goes into the welding program, there's a welding professional that's in there who's teaching it, so they're exposed to people who have careers in those areas. Our district has it so that students have access to all 14 of the TEA recognized career clusters. There used to be 16, but now it's 14. They've combined a couple of them, and they've added a new career cluster in there for energy. And depending on what opportunity a student is interested in, our district provides opportunities for students to explore all 14 of the different areas. Again, whether that's on our campus or at one of the tech centers. We have on our campus, we are continuing the courses that were offered for this year. And next year, we have a couple of new classes that will be available. So we're going to be offering social media marketing that will be paired with advertising. We are now going to be able to offer sports and entertainment marketing 2. Sports and entertainment marketing 1 was a huge hit, and now we have an opportunity to offer that second class for students to continue on with that area. We are going to offer interpersonal studies again. We offered it a couple of years ago, and now we can bring it back again, and it's going to be paired with lifetime nutrition and wellness. We will be offering principles of robotic engineering and robotics 1. Last year, we had those choices available, but did not have a teacher who was going to teach it. We're going to try this again and start with principles of robotic engineering and robotics 1. We're also going to offer AP computer science. For registering for CTE classes, the classes that are available on our campus, so that'll be on our course selection sheets, on our elective sheets. Any student can sign up for those classes. Those are open enrollment. Select those whenever your student is doing the registration. They'll just put the number in or type the name in, and those classes will be in the student's requests. For Career Center classes, those classes are 2 periods in length, and they're double blocked. They're offered in either AM or PM, so either first and second period or third and fourth period. Busing is available from our campus, so we'll take a student from here to the Career Center and then back again. But students do eat lunch here on our campus. If a student has their own transportation, then they can provide their own transportation. Students are not allowed to transport other students, though. So they can take themselves, they can bring themselves back. Otherwise, there is a bus that's provided for all other students. There is, for the Career Center campuses, students need to select the classes that they want and put them in their requests. I can't express this enough. If your student is interested in doing a tech center class, then put those classes in the requests. After it's in the request, then there will be a tech interest form, which is a rubric that will go out to families and students. So if your student signs up for cosmetology, and they'll need to fill out the tech interest form to say why they're interested in taking the classes and answer a couple of questions. And then the district sends us a list of students who would be ideal candidates for those classes, and we use that to use our seats that are allotted to us. We can have hundreds of students sign up for Career Center classes at Tech East and Tech West, and then the district, we can only have so many spots. So that tech interest form will be used to decide which students are going to get the spots and which are going to go on the wait list. However, my note on the wait list is to let you know that the majority of our students who were on a wait list had an opportunity to be able to get into classes who had registered for the class during our registration window. There are a couple of programs that unfortunately we were not, but most programs we were able to talk to students and say, hey, you didn't get the spot, but there's a spot open now. Do you want it? And some of them, their interests and needs changed, so they chose not to take those, but we did have an opportunity to pull students off the wait list. So just because a student is on the wait list doesn't mean that they stay on the wait list. Fees apply to many of the courses. There is, both of the presentation notes for both advanced academics and for CTE are already posted on our website. So there are some links that are available that has the fees that apply to courses. That link is also in our course registration page on the Hebron Counseling website. I'm sure that in the chat, we have many people who've dropped a link to that page. If not, then please, if somebody would mind dropping that in there, it would be great. Thank you, Ms. Chapman. There is also a link on that page to the course description guide, and it helps to align prerequisites with the advanced practicum classes. So like the The health science program has specific prerequisites for students to take before they can do any of the med practicums, Pharm Tech or one of those. So by looking at the course description guide, if a student looks at the practicums, then it'll say what classes they have to take before they can do that practicum. There are some courses that can be taken starting in the 10th grade. On the course registration page, there is a Career Center course sheet, elective sheet, and that has on there listed the next to it in parentheses, it has the grade levels that the students can take those classes. Many of the programs also offer industry certifications. So by going to the school's websites at TECC East and TECC West, they list which certifications are linked to which programs. TECC East is the campus that is over behind Killu Middle School, over off of 544. They offer animation, architecture, auto tech, AV production, cosmetology, digital sports media, graphic design, health science, and pharmacy tech. And at TECC West, this is the one that's right by LHS Harmon over down Hebron Parkway where it goes past I-35. They offer agriculture, mechanics, floral, animal science, horticulture and plant science, auto collision, AV production, biotechnology, culinary arts. They have the cybersecurity program, electrical and HVAC, and they have health science, of course, welding, wood manufacturing, and they have our 2-year vet tech program as well. Speaking of the TECC East and TECC West, they are both having a community night on the evening of January 26th, and that'll be from 5:30 to 7. So knowing which program is at which campus, we very much encourage you to go to the schools and visit. Also on January 26th, the Tech Center counselors, both of them will be at Hebron High School during lunch for your students to ask questions. So if they want to know something specific about a program, then the person who can answer those questions will be here on our campus on the 26th for lunch to answer those questions. We also have the district is offering an information night for discovering your future, which is exploring all of the different CTE areas and career options. It's being offered both in person and on WebEx. There is a link on the website to register for this opportunity. It would be a good chance to go and hear about the different options of career and technical education for your students. If your student is interested in the firefighter program, there is an information meeting that'll be also on Thursday the 26th at 6:30. Make sure to go to that meeting. It gives information. If you're unable to attend that meeting, that doesn't keep somebody from being in the program, but it does give a substantial amount of information about the firefighter program and everything that it takes to get through it and to get the certification for both firefighter and EMT. Again, there are links that will be available for you to click on the course registration page for both the high school description guide. TECC East has a virtual school, so if you can't make it to the tech centers, then it makes it so that you can at least see inside and see what they have going on there. Both TECC East and TECC West have those. And also there is a link on the course selection page to the costs for the tech course fees. We have a wealth of knowledge on our hallway about classes and scheduling, but when it comes to the specific programs, we can all tell you a little bit about the things that they do and what goes on in those classes. The counselors at each of the career centers are a wealth of knowledge about the courses that are on their campus. So please feel free to reach out to Ms. Yansky at TECC East or Ms. Wilson at TECC West, and they are more than happy to answer questions about the specific programs on their campus. And again, they'll be here on the 26th for your students to answer questions as well. Well, that's what we have for the Career Center classes. There are so many options that are available. The one thing that I'd like for everybody to remember and keep in mind when selecting the classes is that the classes that we have here do have order and have curriculum, but they are courses that any student can sign up for and take on our campus. So if a student wants to take child development, they can sign up and do child development. They want to take fashion design, you sign up and take fashion design. Business information management, sign up and take it. The Career Center classes, though, those are programs that take 2 periods out of the day, and there are students that are waiting for the class. When we come back after summer vacation, we have wait lists of students that we are trying to get into the classes. So if your student feels very strongly about going into medicine, going into law, going into cybersecurity, going into electrical, please sign up for those classes. If it's just because my friend wants to do it, that may not necessarily put someone in the correct mindset for fully immersing into technical education. We have time for registration and thinking about it, and this is an excellent time to get over to the other campuses to do some visit and do some exploration. All right, Ms. Rayford, do you have anything else to say before we finish up?
No, just thank you to everyone for joining us for this lunch presentation. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Thank you very much for coming. We will answer a couple, let our moderators answer a couple more questions on the chat, and then we will we'll close it down. This recording will be on the website later this afternoon. It takes about an hour for WebEx to process it, but we'll get it on YouTube and get it posted up online. The meeting notes for both parts of the presentation are already up and rolling. So thank you very much for coming. To answer that dual credit question that just came up, here's Dr. Robinson.
Hey y'all, so yes, Colin and Hebron don't align with their spring break. So for this term, dual credit professors will not be coming to campus for Colin's spring break, but for Hebron's spring break, classes will be held asynchronously. So students will need to communicate with their professors about what that will look like and if there are expected Zoom or WebEx meetings during Hebron's spring break, or if there will just be assignments to turn in. But that is an excellent, excellent example of the student needing to be responsible for that understanding and making sure that they have a recognized understanding from the professor as to their instructions for those 2 weeks. But if LISD is closed, then students are not expected to come to campus or a Colin campus for those classes, but there may still be expectations of either an online meeting or work to be gotten into the professor at an appointed date and time.
All right, thanks, Dr. Robinson. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.